Hello, everyone. So it's been a little while since I made a video, but I figure in order to be able to get to our lab on time on Wednesday, I need to have you review the sense of taste. So this video is going to help you to really hopefully understand it a little bit better than just reading slides. So I'm just going to get right into it so that you can get through this as quickly as possible. So the sense of taste is also known as gustation. So just like how olfaction means the sense of smell, the sense of taste is going to be known as gustation for our purposes. So you'll hear the word gustatory a bit, and that just refers to this sense. So this sense is going to involve chemicals, just like your sense of smell, but these chemicals are going to be ones that dissolve within your saliva and then get detected through your saliva. So you have receptor cells that are called gustatory cells, and they are found within taste buds and within your mouth, as well as so your tongue, your mouth, and then even part of the back of your throat. You have about 10,000 taste buds, and each of those taste buds are going to have somewhere around 50 to 150 gustatory cells each. So that's a good amount of receptor cells for your sense of taste. The taste bud is the organ for gustation. So just like how the epithelial tissue within your nasal cavity for the sense of smell is the organ there, your taste buds are the organs for gustation. So they contain the gustatory cells over here. This is what a taste bud looks like. And within the bumps on your tongue, so the bumps on your tongue are not taste buds. That's what you may have commonly thought up to this point, but those bumps are called papillae. They look something like this. And then within the folds here are the taste buds. So each papillae is going to have a decent number, somewhere around 100 or so taste buds each. So you'll find the papillae with their taste buds on the tongue mostly, but you'll also find some of these on the roof of your mouth as well as within the walls of your throat. So a little bit more information about the taste bud. So you can see here we've got some cells. You have the taste cells. So these are the gustatory cells that I was talking about before, the receptors. Um, on those cells, you have little extensions that are going to help to detect the chemicals. You have some additional cells here that help to support the whole structure of the taste bud. And then in between adjacent taste buds, you have a bunch of epithelial cells that are there for structural support as well. So your tongue and the lining of your mouth is stratified squamous epithelium, and the taste buds are going to be found within those cells. So a taste bud contains the gustatory cells, these yellow ones, the epithelial cells for support. All right, these are the supporting cells in pink. These are not actually detecting any chemicals. They're just there for structural support. And then we have some neurons here represented by these yellow strands that are there to pick up messages from the gustatory cells. Gustatory cells are chemoreceptors. On the previous slide, it was mentioned that they are epithelial cells themselves as well. So just like these pink ones, they're also epithelial cells. They're just modified to be able to detect the chemicals. So they have these projections from the ends of them that kind of stick out through the pore here. They're called taste hairs. And on that portion of their membrane, they have receptor proteins, just like the olfactory receptors in your nose. And they're going to bind to the chemicals within your saliva. And depending on what type of chemical it is, will depend on what actually attaches to these receptors. So there are at least 5 different types of gustatory cells for 5 different tastes. So maybe at this point you know them. Hopefully you do know at least 4 of them, but we will review that on the next slide. So the 5 primary tastes. First, we got sweet. That's an easy one. So sugars, carbohydrates give us a sweet sensation. sour things, typically from acids, chemicals that will give off protons or those H plus ions. They taste sour to us. So something like citric acid that you get in, a bunch of citrus fruits, they have a little bit of a sour taste to them because of the high concentration of H plus from the acids within. Salty flavors come from the ions of inorganic salts. So think sodium chloride. Bitter compounds are from alkaline or alkaloid chemicals. Magnesium and calcium salts have a bit of a bitter taste to them. And then the one that you might not have been familiar with, but hopefully you'll become familiar with now, is a savory taste, which is known as umami, which is Japanese for delicious. And you get this type of flavor from amino acids, and like monosodium glutamate or MSG. So this is all happening within your taste buds, within your mouth or your throat. And, the gustatory receptor cells are the ones that are taking the chemicals and reacting. They're found within the taste buds. Taste buds are found within the papillae. Papillae are on the tongue, the roof of the mouth, and within the pharynx. So now let's go through the process here. A chemical that you ingest, that you put in your mouth, that dissolves in saliva, is going to do that first. And without your saliva, you're not going to be able to detect the chemical. So saliva is very important for being able to taste your food. So the chemical is going to dissolve within the saliva. They're going to flow over the papillae down towards the taste buds and flow into the taste pore. And within there, we've got our taste hairs, receptor proteins on the taste hairs. They bind to the chemicals within the saliva. All right, so the chemical comes into the papillae, and then within the papillae will flow down into the taste pore to the taste hairs, where they will bind with the receptor proteins on these cells. At that point, the gustatory cell is going to be stimulated, and each of them are going to have a neuron attached, or synapse to it. And depending on the location of the taste bud, that will determine which cranial nerve will take that sensory information back to your brain. So if it is the front portion of your tongue, that's going to be the facial nerve or cranial nerve number 7. If it is towards the back of your tongue and even the back of the mouth, that's the glossopharyngeal nerve, which is number 9. And if it is at the base of your tongue, so towards the bottom as well as your throat, that is going to be the vagus nerve number 10. So the stimulated gustatory cell is going to then trigger an impulse at the synapse with the neuron. That neuron will be, depending on location, part of one of these 3 cranial nerves. All right, so we have the stimulation of the nerve, and it'll take it back. So at that point, all of them are going to go through the medulla oblongata, which is stimulated here. That's the green portion of the brainstem, according to our diagram. From the medulla oblongata, it's going to get transmitted up the brainstem to the thalamus, stimulate the thalamus, and from the thalamus, we'll travel up to the parietal lobe. We have a little gustatory cortex right here for the sense of taste, and that is where you will form a perception of that taste, good or bad. Okay, so that is actually it for this whole process. Hopefully you were able to get something out of this, but feel free to watch this again if you need any help. And also let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks for watching.